Hey guys, what is up? Ray Mage here doing another World of Tanks 360 review. Today guys, we're going to be doing the Tier 7 medium tank for the Soviet medium line. This is the T43. This is actually a very impressive tank. Let's go ahead and talk about the packages, talk about what you get here stock. Stock, you come out with the V234M engine. That was the, I believe, the stock engine for the T3485, or maybe it was one of the close to final package upgrades for the T3485. 520 horsepower. You get the 85mm ZIS S53 gun, 12 rounds a minute, 120 penetration, 160 damage, .41, .42 accuracy, and 2.9 aiming time. It's a workable gun. You can work with it stock. I was surprised a little bit. It's capable. You get the T43 tracks, 36 degrees traverse speed, T43 Mod 1942 engine, 80mm from the front and side and 60 in the back, 48 degrees of traverse speed per second, and you get 360 meters of view range. Overall, this is quite a capable tank stock. I thought it was usable. I thought it was very good. Wasn't painful. I thought it was going to be much worse stock than I initially thought. Very capable. Your next package, you will upgrade. I believe. Do you upgrade the engine? No, it's just an upgrade to your tracks and a turret. So let's go ahead and talk about it. You will get the T43 Mod 1943 tracks, 38 degrees of traverse speed, and you get the T43 Mod 1943 turret. The turret is very good, 90 millimeters of armor all around, front, back, and side. 46 degrees of traverse speed per second, and 370 meters of view range. This was an exceptional tank. The turret, I cannot say enough nice things about. While it is 90 millimeters front, same as the T3485, it is 90 millimeters all around, so you can kind of get away with people maybe shooting at the side or back of your turret. I've bounced a few shots off the back of this thing on occasion, and it can save you. But this is where you want to start to get to. You want to be grinding for this spot, because that's where the tank will get usable. And at this point, it's a judgment call if you want to get here to the end. All it is the V54K engine. But let's go ahead and talk about this package. The V244 engine, 560 horsepower. Or is that 580? Looks like 560. 85mm DF5T 85BM. 11.11 rounds a minute, 144 millimeters of penetration, 180 damage, 2.29 aiming time, .37 to .36 accuracy. Everything else stays the same from the previous package. It is mostly an engine and gun upgrade. This is really the pinnacle of the tank, getting here with the V54K 600 horsepower engine. Quite a capable tank. I mean, it's not bad at all. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to some gameplay, and I will go ahead and finish up on the commentary on this tank and explain why I didn't have to do much of a walkthrough for this tank. I will catch you guys back here in a moment. Okay guys, here's the gameplay. It's Prokhorovka in counter battle. Let's go ahead and talk about why I didn't do much of a walk around or a walkthrough on the packages. Quite frankly, it's not that this tank is bad. It's not bad at all. It's a capable tank. The thing is this is just a Tier 7 version of the T3485, even down to the looks and appearance. The only thing really visually different is that the tank might have a slightly different hull, and it might be a little bit more thinner overall. If you were to compare it to a T3485, you would see my point. It just seems like it's a more slimmed down tank, which would begin the trend that you're going to see at Tier 8 with the T44. But everything is the same on this tank. The final gun you can get for this tank, the best possible gun, is the 85mm BM gun. Everything else is the same. The engine is the same. The only thing that's really different is the tracks and the turret. The hull, is, like I said, I think it's, I believe, a completely different hull. I'm not exactly sure on my history on the Soviet tanks, but I'm pretty confident that is not the same exact hull. But everything on this, everything in terms of performance, it's the same as the T3485. This is just a T3485 that has a higher hit point pool, might be a slightly better view range, a slightly higher rate of fire. that's about it with this tank. I believe even the traverse speed is actually the same, and I think that's to accommodate for the little bit of armor you have. Now, you do get a little bit more armor with this tank on the hull, and you will see it in action here later. Used to, with the T-34-85, I was very careful, very cautious with it, simply because, yeah, it was sloped, angled armor. Sometimes you could get lucky, but for the most part, I didn't try my luck against VK-30s or VK-36s that had L-70s. I just didn't want to try it. And you will see here later in the match, I'm going to get popped at by a Tiger with an L-70. Poor bastard, he was stock. But I bounced a shot from him. Now, if I was in the T-34-85, I don't think I would have been as lucky. I bounced, I think, 2 or 3 shots from him, which is incredibly great. I was impressed. From this gameplay alone, I was like, wow, this tank can bounce a few shots if it absolutely needs to. That doesn't mean you want to sit out there and take hits from Tier 7 guns. You're not going to bounce a shot from an L100 75mm gun, and I don't believe you're going to bounce a shot from a 90mm N3. So remember, you do have your limitations with this tank. Here, you're seeing what I can do with this tank, and this is pretty much what you can do. You can do a lot of the same things you could with the T-34-85, and then some. As I said, this is really just a beefed up T-34-85. The T-43 is an incredible tank. Now, it's not as if you're not getting any kind of upgrade. It's really minor stuff. It's overall stuff that you kind of wished was on the 34-85. You do get a little bit more armor. You get a little bit more armor on the turret, which means you can get lucky now when you pop up and try to take a pop shot at somebody. You're going to see the first hit I get here. I believe, no, it isn't here. I'm going to get shot at by a Tiger later in the match, and just keep in mind, it is... I thought it was quite interesting that I could bounce a shot from this guy and he had an L70, and that's not a joke of a gun. People are going to say, well, it's an L70, but you got to keep in mind, you know, Tier 6 and 7, the L70 is quite capable. So it's not as if that guy is shooting me with a pea shooter. You will notice here I do miss quite a few of my shots. That has a lot to do with the fact that on my 34-85, I have an advanced gun laying drive on it. So, there's one thing I would say, if you do intend to keep this tank, you definitely want to consider a vertical stabilizer. In terms of equipment, as I suggested, vertical stabilizer, coated optics. I have a medium caliber gun rammer. Even though the rate of fire is slightly higher on this tank with the 85mm BM, I still recommend it just because, well, you think about it, you're a medium tank. For the most part, you are flanking, and you want to pop around and you want to have as high a rate of fire as possible. You'll see here, I can pop up, I can spot people. This is pretty much how you would want to play this tank. You want to take your pop shots at people. You can snipe if you need to. You want to be looking for flanks. You want to be spotting. You want your artillery to help mount. Here, I get a little overzealous trying to shoot this AT-7. You know, I just tried hoping I could do something. I get a little agitated, and you notice, you know, I've missed a few shots. I'm getting a little annoyed, so I decide, all right, I'm going to go ahead. And I notice we're being capped. I know there's like 3 people on the cap. There's a bunch of people on the hill. And I think my arty is paying attention over there. They seem to be focused over there. So I'm going to go over here and just get some spots. And you'll see I benefit big time. Now, this is obviously not a T20. You're not going to be out spotting one of them. Those things are just loaded around. And I apologize for the little shimmer here you see in the gameplay. That is my cap card acting up once again. Might need to get a new one. But this is how you want to play this tank. You want to be a bit of an opportunist, flank when you have the opportunity. This is just an underwhelming tank. It's not a bad tank. The 85mm BM, great at Tier 6. I guess you could say you really didn't need an upgrade here with the T43 because the 85mm was so good. And you'll see there, bounced a shot from the L70 on that Tiger. Now, I have no idea if maybe he hit the turret or what. Get him again. You can see the rate of fire in action. This can be an aggressive Tier 7 medium. I feel like I can go face-to-face with a Comet in some instances with this tank because of the turret. Seems to be more roomier, and I guess my crew can now reload a lot quicker. I guess that's what contributes to the higher rate of fire. Very quick, capable tank. I don't know if the power-to-weight ratio is as good as the T-34-85, but it gets up and goes quick enough. You can't complain about it. Here I got a little too aggressive, and I wanted to hit this T29 so badly I couldn't stand it. M12 go ahead and takes the kill from me. I was a little annoyed. I wanted to hit him a few times at least before he got killed, but oh well. And this is what you got to be careful of. You got to avoid being too over-aggressive. I know when I first got this tank and I found out, hey, I can actually bounce a little bit more in this tank compared to the T43 I see a lot of people rush out in this tank and they think they're kind of invincible. I don't know what it is. I've seen more people do it in this tank than anything else. In reality, you don't want to do that. You want to be smart about it. I guess the best way to think about it is think of yourself as a T20 with a little bit of luck on your side. You can bounce a shot if you need to. You're probably not as low to the ground as a T20. But that's pretty much how you want to play this tank. You want to be a bit of an opportunist. You want to be smart about it. You don't got to be dumb. You don't have to go out there and make or break a flank. You can see here, I got a good rate of fire. The gun, look at the accuracy. It's good enough. You can't complain. It works. In terms of equipment, coated optics, medium caliber gun ammo, and I think if you're going to keep this tank, vertical stabilizer, that will help, probably help with the accuracy on the move, or you could consider the enhanced gun laying drive. Overall, guys, I mean, it's not a bad tank. I just find it to be underwhelming. I don't intend to keep it. Hopefully by next week I will have the T44 and this thing will be out of my garage. Like I said, not a bad tank. I mean, just look at the accuracy. You can work with it. You can hit narrow spots if you need to. It's just a tier 7 version of the T34 It's a good tank. Just, I don't know. I'm spoiled by the Panther and the T20. So if you're like me, you probably are going to find this tank to be a bit underwhelming. You just kind of wish there was a little something more to it. Overall, good. Alright, guys. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Hopefully I'll have that T44 ready to review by next week. Alright. Later, guys.